Привет everyone! Today we're going to talk about the Python functions and how you can write one. It's very straightforward in Python. All you got to do is write def, then the name of the function, and in the brackets you may or may not include any variables that you're going to use in the body of the function, or as I did here, just straight in the return of the function, and then colon, and you do the body of the function, do return whatever value you want it to do. And let's look at this function here. So it adds two values. So we add in 2 and 3. If I run it, I get 5. The thing here is, though, if I do not specify any values in those brackets, it's going to give me an error. So to avoid that, you can have the default values of the function. So like here, we have x equal 2 and y equal 3 by default. So if I choose to run this function instead, I get my 5 again. So in the first two functions, we could only add two numbers, and we knew that there are going to be two numbers. But say we don't know how many numbers are going to be there in the function. We just want to write the function that adds as many numbers as you pass to it. To help us out with that, Python has very convenient args. And the thing that matters here is actually not the word args itself, but the asterisk that is right before it. So this can be anything. It's just a convention to call it args, like short for arguments. So let's see how that works with our function def all, or add all, I should say. So we add 2, 3, and then we add 5, just a third number. So we get 10, as expected. Maybe we want to add 8 to that. 18. As many numbers as you want, it's going to add it for you. Now let me prove that this doesn't matter. The word itself doesn't change the outcome. So asterisk really just unpacks the list of all the values that you pass there to the function. So it's like an unpacking operator. And similarly, there is two asterisk unpacking for keyword arguments, or something that is very similar in structure to dictionaries. And just for that matter, just to demonstrate this similarity, just call this key and value. Here, even though these two words don't matter, the function items though matter. This is the function that you would use on dictionaries to unpack both values in a tuple at the same time. And here, I just wrote a function translate. And I'm going to pass it a word, equals, and some different word. And then all it's going to do is the first word is going to be all in uppercase letters, if it isn't already, and the second word is going to be capitalized. So not to bore you guys with me typing a function, I just copy-pasted it, and then let's see what it is. So passing the first word gets capitalized, then it writes means, and then second word, starting, actually this one for the first one, starting with a capital letter. And just a quick couple examples of how you can actually use those asterisk and double asterisks operators in Python to unpack lists and say dictionaries. I'm just going to concatenate dictionary so it's more visual. So say I have a list of these 3 words here, and I want to unpack it with this asterisk here. And I just print out the results. I get all 3 words separately printed out. Or, let me do this. Say I want to concatenate these 3 dictionaries that are, in this case, actually dictionaries. So I'm just saying Russian word, English word, and so on. And this one has 2 of them, but I want to make them all together. I just write 2 asterisk in front of each of those dictionaries in the curly brackets, and then if I print that, it's going to give me one dictionary that has all of these entries in it. So the whole asterisk thing wasn't really functions related. Let's get back to functions. Say I wrote these 4 functions, and I want to run some of this code using the functions above in this functions.py file. And so I do that, get my results, and I want to save it as is. But I want to use these functions somewhere else, in some different Python file that I have. And to do that, instead of just copy pasting them or rewriting them, I can just import them, import the whole file. And so I do that here. I just import this .py file, except for you don't have to write .py, as something something. This isn't necessary, but this makes it easier to use it later because you would not have to type in the entire functions, but just the func instead. And then if I import it, it runs all these code that we had below the functions as well. And to avoid that, you can have if name argument. What it does is, this is the default method in Python, that double underscore name double underscore, and it checks what's the name of the program. And if it is the main, which gets assigned when you have the file open, then it just runs this. And if it isn't, it doesn't. And let's comment this and uncomment this instead. So if we run it, we get our results as expected. And if we import it, we don't get anything. So this is actually the proper way of writing any programs in Python, so that if you open this particular file, all of that below will run. But if you import it, it won't. And if I import it and I say want to run the same function, as I said before, I can just write func and then say I just want this one. I can get it, or I can change it to whatever I want. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. And the last thing that I actually had to do just now, because I forgot about that earlier when I was just coding the material for this video, is what if you have this functions file somewhere in a different directory than the important file? So here we had them both at the same directory, and the default directory for the important file is where we are now in this Ansel folder. So if I want to import that functions and run any functions from that file, I actually get my answer. But say I have another folder that I just called literally folder, and in this folder I have functions 2, where I have 2 of those functions that I just copy pasted from the functions file, and I want to import that functions 2. I can't. The reason is because it's in a different folder, so Python doesn't know what to do with this, unless you literally type in the folder dot, and now you can actually select your functions. Thank you VS Code for double doing this, as func, and run it and get your 8 again. So I really hope this video on functions in Python was enough entertaining for you to want to try it yourself. And I'll have one more tutorial video, and then we'll start getting actually some interesting projects, and I actually have a couple good ideas already. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.